In this video, we're going to use Gimp upon startup. To use Gimp, we're going to first need to load the program. You can find the program underneath all files or all programs in your start menu, so you can click on the start menu and you should see all programs and you can find your program Gimp. You could also type it in the search bar. After Gimp loads, which it actually may take a minute for it to load, but after it loads, you should see some windows pop open. If your windows don't show up upon startup, you can open them for yourself. We'll need a new toolbox, and you can move the toolboxes by clicking the outer gray border. We'll also need, underneath dockable dialogs, your tool options. You'll also need your layers and your undo history buttons. Later, as we grow with our skills, we'll have more dockable dialogues open, but for now, this is really all you need. To combine windows, you can grab the tabs, not the outer border of the window, but just the tab, and drag and drop by left-clicking your mouse. So let's do another one. I can left-click Tool Options and hold it down with my mouse. Drag it until I see the blue line end where I would like my option window to end up, and I let go. If you have too narrow of a window, you can always hover over the outer borders, wait for the little black arrows to show up, and then you'll see yourself be able to expand your window. You want to make sure your window doesn't take up too much of your workspace because there will be zoom in and out buttons and measurement tools at the bottom left corner. To open a new document, you have several different options. My favorite is just to go to File, New, and choose our template size, which is US letter. More often than not, you'll only be using a US letter size document, which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. You can choose your orientation of your paper by choosing either portrait or landscape, and you have examples of what that document image would look like. Underneath advanced options, you can have your X and Y resolution set to 300. We can always compress the file later, but it's nice to start off with such a high quality image. We also want our color space to be RGB color and a fill to be background color. Then you can hit OK. Once you have your new document set up, you'll see a white blank screen, which is like your image workspace. You'll also see in your layers dialog box that you have a background image. And if you look closely at the bottom of the layers window, you'll see that you have several options. If you hover over each of these little icons, you'll see different descriptions of what those icons will do when you click them. So on the left, you have create a new layer and add it to the image. A layer is pretty much like a layer is like an extra sheet of paper or a clear pane that you can place over the top of another layer. So when you click the icon, you'll see a new layer window pop open, and you can give it a name like drawing or maybe a picture, and you'll see that a little transparent window comes up. The transparent window symbol is this little black and kind of a gray and light gray, dark gray, light gray checkerboard, and that just tells you that it's a transparent layer. So if I were to delete this white background and have a design on the middle, I wouldn't have a white border in the background, which is helpful if you're designing web pages or if you're going to plan to print on colored paper or patterned paper. You won't see a big white background behind it to where it looks like a sticker or something. It'll just be the artwork that you create in there, and that is all. You also notice that there are little eyeballs to the left of your layer preview windows. And those eyeballs allow you to hide different portions of your imagery, and it allows you to really just work in a simple viewing way. You'll also need to make sure that whenever you work within a layer that you highlight the layer that you want to work in by clicking on it. If I start drawing in my layer that says drawing, and I create a little drawing, and then I decide that I would like to erase it, if I try to erase in the background layer, what happens is I'm not activating those pixels in the drawing layer. But when I take my eraser over the layer in the drawing layer, it's going to get rid of those pixels because this is the layer that those pixels are in, not the background layer. To delete an entire layer, you can just click the trash can button in the bottom right corner. You can even delete the background layer, and that is okay. To create a new layer, again, if you'd like it to be a white layer or a different colored background layer, you can just make your selection and hit OK. Final thing before I set you free is about saving. To save your artwork, you'll go up to File, and you always want to choose Save, and then you want to be really careful with where you save your work. You'll want to make sure that you choose your locker, and so you should have your name on that, and then you should be able to see windows that have, or little icons that have your folder descriptions on them. So in my documents, I have this here. You'll always want to make sure that you title your artwork properly. And so it'll be your last name with your first initial. And then because this is a Gimp document, we leave it as an XCF file, and that's all. Down towards the right corner, you'll see it's an XCF image, and then you can click Save. And that's all. Now you know how to start and save your artwork as a new Gimp user.